2019 was a very exciting year for Athletics South Africa. We achieved many things, and I can list some of them. Of course, one that stood out for us was the team that we sent out to the African Youth and Junior Championships, the first of its kind in Africa, which was initiated by Athletics South Africa and accepted by the entire continent. And our athletes wiped out almost everything in the sprints, jumps and throws, and that made South Africa once more time to be regarded and acknowledged as the powerhouse of athletics in the continent of Africa. We also had our teams going to the 50-kilometer IAU. They came back with a silver individual and the team prize of gold, which is the first prize. Not only that, we also sent a team to the World Athletics Championships in Doha with high expectations, and unfortunately we did not come with medals, but we are satisfied that our athletes were there on the field from day one up to the last day, and some good performances, exceptional performances under the circumstances were recorded by our athletes. And we are happy, but at the same time not happy, because we wanted medals. We are back on track. We are working towards making sure that in 2020 we are successful at the Olympics, at the African Championships and other events. We are focusing mostly on our junior athletes who are moving up to the senior championship level and the senior category. We also sent our athletes to the relays in Japan, Yokohama. They broke the record in the 4x2 Africa record and ASA record, and they came back with a silver medal behind the United States of America. That also motivated us and motivated the country as a whole. After that, we put a team that went to Doha, and they also broke the South African record and the Africa record from 38.24 to 37.65, joining the top 6 times in the world since 4x1 was ever contested in the world of athletics. And I'm sure that we will be able to do better next year, because we have already appointed a coach who is already working with a team of athletes for the Olympics, and it's going to be a very difficult preparation with no mercy to any of the athletes. Paul Horis is here, and I'm told Mahakwe and Junkies, they are here already with him, and Simbini is here. We are waiting for other athletes to join them, but we have already announced the 6 athletes who are going to form part of the Team South Africa 4x1, 4x4 men and women for next year. But that is not cast in stone. It will be based on performance. You don't perform, you are out. You don't answer when we call you, we take you out. You miss one session, we take you out, because the relay is about teamwork. It's not about anything. It's about how you handle the baiting and how you train together and understand your weaknesses and cover each other when there is a need to do so. So we are partnering with the University of Pretoria. These athletes will stay here, and the University of Pretoria has come forward to say they will accommodate the athletes, they will feed the athletes for the duration as long as we want it to be. And the athletes are preparing, and we will be announcing the youth and junior teams, 4x1, 4x4, men and women that will also be located somewhere with their head coach and all that. That's what we are doing, and that's what we have done, and that's what we are doing to make sure that we ratify whatever did not work in the year 2019. The message has gone out and is as strong as you would like it to be, that athletics has got different disciplines, and such disciplines are jumps, throws, sprints, relays, middle, long, and ultra, and we are not lacking in any of those. If you look at pole vault, we had one young boy breaking the South African record in Stellenbosch, jumping, I think it was 5:30 or 5:32. When did we last have that? It's so many years ago. So coaches are working on all those areas. Discuss, we used to be very strong, and last year we had the world junior champion in the shot put, and 22 meters, 22.06 to be precise. It means that we are there. The only area that we are worried a bit is our women, but we are happy with the sprints, with the hurdles and relays. They need to put more effort, but they cannot be able to do that if they don't have the coaches, if the male counterparts are not taking them through, so that they can be able to be in line with what USA, Jamaica, UK and other countries are doing. So we are very focused in all disciplines. And we do have coaches. And the best thing is that we do have young coaches who are preparing athletes to be the best in the world. They have won. The good example is Dambile. Dambile is just a young boy. It's just a kid, in fact. It's not even a boy. It's a kid. And there are many others that we have seen, 15, 16-year-olds, going as close as possible to break the world record of their age group in the hurdles, long hurdles and high hurdles. We have got athletes coming in, and the diversity that you are talking about. We also see black athletes coming into events that were never during our days when we were running. Black athletes were not there. So it means that our coaches, black and white, they coach those athletes who are available to and who are disciplined and who are prepared to take instructions from the coaches. And we are very excited about that. Well, progress is that we have aligned ASA, we have come up with a vision that is going to take us to years to come, 20, 30 years to come. And some of that we have seen it here in the event today, where you'll have walking events getting stronger and stronger, same as all other disciplines. We have refocused ASA, and we have taken ASA from believing that they are a national federation, they must fulfill the national duties only. But we have said you are not a national federation only. You are an international federation. You must compete with the best of the best. It's not about money. It is about how hard you prepare and how hard you take care of your coaches, of your athletes, of all other stakeholders that make athletics to be athletics. That is one thing that we have achieved. In the past, we had silos, silo mentality. Road running, track and cross country, they have been given a very strict mandate to work among themselves, because some of the middle distance athletes, they tend to be the track and cross country and all that. We have also touched base with other people. You'll see next week, or not next week, after next week, even in Potchefstroom, we'll be having the coaches symposium, where we'll have the Kenyan top of the range coach who is having the Olympic and the world record holders under his belt, and Lesotho, Botswana coach who is troubling us in the 200 and 400 meters, coming in to give a lecture as to how do you prepare your athletes in order to beat them. Their women are beating us, their men are beating us, and we have to learn from him. If we have to poach him to South Africa, so let's do it, because other countries are doing that. We have already started that. That's why we have brought in the Kenyan and the guy from Justice. Yes, it's Justice from Botswana, to exchange with our coaches, because there is something that he has been consistently doing right. He produced Mokwala, he produced Nigel Amos, he produced other athletes. So why should we not learn from him? He's our neighbor. He speaks the same dialect like most of the people in Pretoria and the athletes. So Kenyans, they are giants in the middle distance, long distance and marathons. We have to learn from them, get the coach who's going to talk to the coaches. Once they talk to our coaches, they will be able to change the way they do things. But that is not sufficient. Even our athletes, if they don't train with the Kenyan athletes, it is not going to help them. You have to do at least a quarter of what they do and add your own South African thing. And we have learned, we have gone to our archives at ASA, and we have spoken to former athletes, be it the Ramara, the Sepeng, the late Mlautsi, Caster, and all of them. They have learned a lot from the Kenyans, and you have to learn from them, and you have to bring them. I've said at our council meeting, there are two alternatives that we must look at, is to send our people to Kenya, or to invite some of the top Kenyan athletes for a week or 2 weeks in South Africa, Pretoria, or anywhere where they are going to be hosted and respected, and work with some of our athletes. Train in the morning, midday, midnight. If they do that, in 2 weeks' time they go back, then our athletes will be able to learn as fast as possible with their coaches. So it is important. We must know that we accept that we live in a global village as athletics. We can't be an island in South Africa and think that we can beat Americans and Jamaicans. We have to be with them. We have to invite them to our competitions. We have to go and compete with them and train with them. We even have to send our coaches to their training qualifications or symposiums, so that they can be able to learn how things are done. Not only that, but we also need to send our physios and some of the medical teams to understand how do you avoid injuries, how do you manipulate muscles, how do you make sure that your athletes don't get injured when they are supposed to be here. So it's a whole range of issues that we have looked at, and different people are working on that. We are even going to Jamaica, and Jamaica is coming to us. They've invited us because we want to know what is it that can cause the country with a 2 million population to be able to dominate America with 302 million people. What is it that they are doing? And as a former teacher, I believe in education, and I believe that coaches, our coaches, including ourselves as leaders, we must continuously learn from other people. We must never sit back and say, we know this because we were athletes, or we are this and that. We must continuously evolve so that we can make significant improvement. Already we are offering a lot to some of the not African athletes, or African countries. You go to this university, Pretoria, you go to Potchefstroom, you go to Stellenbosch. Around December, or already now, there are athletes who are already preparing for the Olympics. They move away from their winter, they move away from their meeting crowds. They come to South Africa and prepare. So we must reciprocate ourselves. We must go to them when it is summer, like we go to in Italy, Genoa, where we send our athletes. But that needs to be structured. I still believe that it is not properly structured. when we move there, we must move there with the mandate. It must not be the individual coaches moving there. It must be the Team South Africa moving there with the manager, with the head coaches, so that they can be able to not take that as a holiday. They must take it as a working, as a training camp in preparation for the global season. And when we want them to come back, they must come back. And we must be able to say, you are going to compete on this and that event and come back home, or you are going to skip this event and that event and that event. Because what we have noticed, Wade and colleagues, is that some of the athletes, when they go to Europe, they overcompete. By the time they are expected to deliver on behalf of the country, they are flat, they can't go up again. And we are going to reciprocate that, but also, I was saying to our track and field, road running and all that, I said, why do we have more than 500 athletes coming to South Africa, Pretoria, Germiston and Stellenbosch, but we are not taking our own athletes and put them there so that they can be able to rub shoulders with those coaches and with those athletes, have the camp there maybe on weekends, and see what these people are doing, because you learn from other people. There is no doubt that you will be the greatest if you learn from your competitors. It's not that we should or we think. We must. The mandate is very clear. We must be able to win medals at the Tokyo Olympics. And I can tell you where the medals must come from. They must come from the 100 meters, they must come from the 200 meters men, and they must come from the 4x1, they must come from the jumps. We must win medals, even more medals than what we won in Rio. And the 200 and the 400 meters weight or whosoever must be able to come back and be able to do what they are supposed to be. Yes, jumps and rowers, there are those people, some were injured, but they are back. We must win medals. Otherwise, we should not go there if we are not going to deliver what is expected of us. We are not visitors. You know my policy and the philosophy of ASA. We don't send visitors. We send people who are going to fly the flag of the Republic of South Africa.